In this video, I will show you how you can take your JavaScript single page application and make an app of it with help of .NET MAUI. Welcome to another video about .NET MAUI, but today I will talk about something that I don't do really often. I will talk about JavaScript. And that because I will show you how you can take your website, your single page built with JavaScript, React for example, as you will see in my demo, and embed that into .NET MAUI and have a hybrid app. And how easy that is together with the Blazor web view, even if it's not Blazor that you will embed into it. So let's go into Visual Studio and I will show you that. First, we can start with the web application I have built, or I just did some small changes to the default template with create React app. So we can run this in the browser first. So we need a terminal. So we go here and do npm start. And the website will look like this, just this rotating React icon and a button that I should not click. Okay, let's go and take this to .NET MAUI app. So I created a .NET MAUI Blazor application from that template. So what we have when we have a Blazor application is that we have this www root folder. And when you're doing a Blazor app, you don't have that much stuff in here. You have the index.html file, some CSS, and of course, everything that is static content. But as you can hear, I mentioned static content, and React app is just static content. And that means that you can take your build output from the React app and just put it into this folder, and everything will work for you. And then you can go to your page and use Blazor web view. And exactly as you do with a Blazor, you will have a host page, and that is index.html in this case too. If you will load some Blazor stuff, you will have a root component element here, but now you just leave it empty like this. And it will load the static website into here. And as you can see here, I also combine it with some native tab bar and a native page. So that means that I'm combining my JavaScript single page application with native UI. So let's run this on, let's say, Android. So here the app is running on the Android emulator. And here we have the tab bar, we can switch to the native view, and we can go back to the web view. And to make this a more hybrid than just some web stuff inside of an app, I also did it possible to call the native code from the web. So if you click this button that we should not click, it will load the position and it will use the GPS for that. Of course, you can do that with web too, but in this case, it will use the native APIs for that. So let's click the button. And we wait. And now we have our position. So let's take a look how I achieved that. The first thing we need to do is that we need to go and modify the handlers a bit for the Blazor web view. So I did that in the main page saml.cs. And it's very simple to do this with .NET MAUI. The only thing you need to do is to go to the handler, and you have a mapper, and then you can append it to the mapper, and you can prepend, for example, but in this case I will append to the mapping. And I give the custom stuff here a name, as custom, and then we have a handler as input here. So then I will do different things on iOS, Mac, Catalyst. They have the same APIs, so I can reuse the code there. And on Android, I will do another thing. So with the iOS and Mac Catalyst, we will take the handler and go to the platform view, that are the iOS web view, then configuration, user content controller. And then we can add a script message handler. So I created two handlers, one that just have a single way communication from the JavaScript app to the native app, and I give that name hello, and this is something that you will use when you call it. And then we have this message handler with the reply, and that's named get location. So if you go to our platforms folder, then we have iOS, Mac Catalyst, then we have them here. It's the same code in both of them. Why I see both of them here, it seems to be a bug in the Visual Studio Solution Explorers, so you don't have to care about that. So here we have the message handler and the message handler with reply. And the only method that you need here is a did receive script message from this interface. And the same with this, with the reply, but you have another interface. So here you can handle what should happen. So in this case, I use the MAUI devices, get location async, get a position, convert it to a string, and I use the reply handler and send it back to the web part. It is as simple as that, but this part is not well documented, so it took a bit of time to find the solution for me, but when I find it, it was really straightforward. And if you want to look how I did this, I will publish this to my GitHub also, and I will add a link in the video description. Okay, so how can we call that on the JavaScript side? Yeah, that's also pretty simple. So here we have the button handler, and here we check if window.webkit is undefined. We don't do this because if it's not running on iOS, this WebKit will be undefined, and then we will have an error. Okay, the way we will call this is window.webkit.messagehandlers.hello, the name we gave in the native code, and then post message, and then I can send a string or whatever I want. And with get location, I just have get location instead hello post message. I pass null because I don't have any parameter in, and then I handle the result. So this will be asynchronously set, and then I update the position. So it's not harder than that. Okay, let's take a look how I did this on Android. So we go back here and see what we do in the handlers. So we set the platform view, the Android web view. We set JavaScript enabled to true, and then we add a JavaScript interface. And in my case, a class that I call JavaScript handler. And then I give the interface a name called native. So we can go here to the Android folder, and we go to JavaScript handler. And here we can see this needs to be a Java lang object. And then we will use attributes for this. So JavaScript interface attribute and the export attribute. This makes it possible to call this hello method and get location method from the JavaScript. Here we use the same geolocation get location async, but we cannot do this with async because this cannot return a task. So here we have a string and return, and then I need to handle it like this because this needs to run on the main thread also, because sometimes it needs to ask for permission. Often just the first time, but depending on what the user have selected when the app asked for permission. So we create a location string here too, and we return it. So when we call this, it's a little bit different. This will not be async, for example, when we use it on the JavaScript side. So here we have window.native. Native was the name I gave the interface, and then we have the method name hello. And the same with the native get location. And I get the location object back, that is a string in this case, and then I can update the position. So it's not harder than that. So one other thing I did, because we need to run npm run build to get these static files updated and put them in the www root folder. You can do this copy manually, but I went to project properties. Then I'd add two custom commands. One to make sure that it's clear the www root folder first, and then npm run build, and the working directory will be this. And if you go here to the package.json and the build script, here I also added a post build script that copies the files to the www root folder. So that means that you don't need to do anything manually. When you go here and build your application, it will also build the JavaScript application and copy the files to the correct folder. And that makes everything pretty simple. If you compare this approach with building a Blazor hybrid, I think the Blazor hybrid is much more straightforward. You don't need to think about having an interface or handlers when talking between the web part and the native part, because everything then is running inside of the native process. The only thing that are web with Blazor hybrid is the actual user interface. So that is much easier, I think. But if you already have a JavaScript single page application and want to reuse it in a native application, you can also do that, and you can go with .NET MAUI. So thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please tap the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because there will be more videos about .NET MAUI and other stuff. See you next time. Bye bye.